M testing 1 2 3。早晨啊，大腰，然後 wow 大腰。唉，近期好似都病病地咁樣，應該話其實咧呢排轉啲唔順利啊，各種地大家都病，好多人都病。呢幾日嚟，近期咧有 V 劇都會咁樣喺度病，我實有啲慘。有馬田嘅直頭一個星期多啲冇直播添，就係咁樣咯。有陣時喉嚨狀態唔好，要揀直播咧，陣間喉嚨爆炸。其實馬田喉嚨爆炸咗，講你已經爆炸咗一段時間。係真係呢個禮拜好少啦，所以就結果多翻啲嚟同朋友去 hang out 啊，跟住就而家直播發現有陣時如果要講得好多嘢，個喉嚨跟住個就爆。尤其是呢個 topic 咧，咁就更加容易爆炸。其實我等咗好耐，我真係其實好想睇呢本，但我想同大家一齊初見嘅情況下，我就冇特別去偷睇呢本。最近呢，就簡單地去咗揾唔同嘅頻去做呢個聚會，可以咁講嘅，因為始終 Beta 年嚟喺Sundae翻到嚟香港，大部分嘅 V 頻都喺香港，都趁住呢個機會可以同大咁多 V 一齊去食飯，但係食飯固然爽啊，但係咧有冇諗過食得多其實會窮？又馬田喺呢邊唔係寫速，但係要冇錢，好難係咁食飯，但係食飯好講。就約咗唔同嘅 V 啦，就呢支谷子樣就去食好低。早2日就同咗特姆沙伯一齊去食炸雞。咁結果其實要行一段路，因為嗰度馬田去食炸雞嗰度咧，就唔係一個地鐵去嗰個地方，就啱啱好喺啲站與站之間嗰啲空域，所以就變咗喺旺角有支旺，跟住慢慢行出去，就同阿沙伯傾咗陣偈。喺食飯之前就講咧，頭其實都有啲怕冇話題講，因為同埋都係 collect 過1、2次印象，大個好好嘅，所以大家要支持睇下佢。再早啲咧就同Naru 上次過嚟澳洲揾馬田嘅頻啦，仲有就係布加一齊去呢個龍塘食飯。九龍塘嗰度食個餐飯有啲貴，但係咧佢最後嗰個 cake 我覺得唔錯。當然中間嗰啲嘢就個質素我覺得還好咧，但係馬田食過有啲更加好食嘅東東，就嘴挑還嘴挑，但係嗰間嘢話中規中矩啦，還就呢排好多時候都喺度養病，有就冇特別咁樣戒，我都有啲呆滯，有陣時我坐屋企太耐，完全係冇咗嗰個 hype 嗰個精神出嚟。不過呢排就病好咗啦，咁變精神就 直播得多少少，其實一個直播我都諗其實應該 keep 到2，因為馬田想直播。但係咧，關於個周表講嘅呢個多，喺周表上面講嘅 shorts 咧，其實已經畫咗幾個稿出嚟啦，咁就可以開始下落嚟嘅。嗰個 shorts 就基本上都係由馬田一個人自己一隻雪糕去 edit，去做啲處理。就如果有個蘋果出嚟有點 bra 的話，就 pt2 嘅，咪我係Sundae一隻啊！就即係各種就係應該其實個內容上咧係馬田，即係平時各種嘅迷思，各種嘅呢個即係心裏話啦，就簡單咁樣就較同大家講出個 short 報出嚟。等等啊！馬田翻嚟，但要就突然之間俾屋企人驚，係咧突然之間敲門，跟住就開咗馬田道門，好驚但要，好彩佢冇本名暴露啊Sundae，如果唔係都多得佢唔少但要，係咯，咁正話講緊呢個同朋友飯之餘，仲有啲近況，就 應該都七七八八啦。喺對上一次直播之前一個近況上呢，就馬田而家總算變得健康了，亦都跟住會有少少呢個 part time 嘅工作，但係應該個時間上係唔影響馬田直播嘅。咁賺咗啲錢呢，咁就話唔定可以買到啲直播設備，咁就馬田而家直播嘅環境就可能會好少少啦。希望啦，翻到嚟香港。馬田嘅生活質素下降低要，因為始終喺嗰邊喺馬田澳洲個 lab 咧，嗰啲設備全部都係已經 set 好晒，咁就唔會有呢、直播嘅唔完善嘅情況出現。不過就係話翻到嚟香港咁呢個便攜設定上咧，直播到其實已經算差唔多噶啦，都冇乜可以係咯。咁就係咁咧，我哋嘅近況報告就係咁多啦。Without further ado，咁我哋繼續開始讀我哋嘅本書。OK。就 Chapter 1 Don't want to get a honey, don't kick over the beehive。就係如果你好似我即係直播預告嗰度咧，如果你唔想要蜂蜜嘅話，就唔好踢個蜂巢啦。即係冇要事就唔好打攪到人。我覺得即係最基本個宗旨就係。哎喲，早晨啊，尋姐。On May 7, 1931, most sensational manhunt New York City has ever known had come to its climax. After 2 weeks of search, two-gun Crowley, the killer, the gunman who didn't smoke or drink, was at bay, trapped in his sweetheart's apartment on West End Avenue. 咧就係喺5月7號1931年咧，就經過肉搜咗幾個星期之後，揾到呢個槍人 Crowley， 就佢都唔食煙唔飲酒嘅，就被壓制喺佢個老婆嘅屋企入邊。150 policemen, detectives lay siege to his top floor hideaway. They chopped holes in the roof. They tried to smoke out Crowley, the cop killer, with tear gas. Then they mounted their machine guns on surrounding buildings, and for more than an hour, one of New York's finest residential areas reverberated with the crack of pistol fire and the rat-tat-tat of the machine guns. Crowley, crouching behind a stuffed chair, fired incessantly at the police. 10,000 excited people watched the battle, nothing like it had ever been before on the sidewalks of New York. 就係喺呢一個黑亨嘅時候，呢個肉搜佢嘅槍戰入邊咧，有150名嘅警察喺最繁忙嘅住宅區入邊去打槍戰啦。咁就啲警察喺個天花板度拆個窿出嚟抌 tear gas 啊，亦都即係用手槍同機槍打佢。呢個係當時其中一個最強悍嘅槍戰。When Crowley was captured, Police Commissioner E.P. Maroney declared that the two-gun desperado was one of the most dangerous criminals ever counted in history of New York. He will kill, said the commissioner, at a drop of a feather. 呢個就係講話喺當時捉到佢嘅時候咧 Crowley 係一個史上喺紐約市入邊最兇最惡嘅呢個槍手啊！佢係一條羽毛跌落嚟嘅水瓶都可以足以。But how did two-gun Crowley regard himself? We know because while the police are fighting into his apartment, he wrote a letter addressed to whom it may concern, and as he wrote, the blood flowing from his wounds left a crimson trail on the paper. In this letter, Crowley said, "Under my coat it's a very hard, kind one that would do nobody any harm." 但係喺大家見到佢話見人就殺嘅情況下，Crowley 對自己嘅睇法咧，佢就話係一個喺佢寫嗰封睇到呢封信嘅人，佢就話我係一個好小心嘅人，但係亦都係一個好溫柔嘅心啱嘅人，亦都唔會對任何人做任何傷害。就not really convincing。但係咧，跟住有一段 ，A short time before this, Crowley had been having a necking party with his girlfriend on a country road out on Long Island. Suddenly, a policeman walked up to the car and said, "Let me see your license." 但係喺呢個槍戰之前，Crowley 就同佢嘅女朋友就喺架車度make out 就做打 K 輪啊咁樣，就喺一條啲 country road， country road 就係嗰啲鄉村公路嚟嘅，但係突然之間有個警察咧就行咗去佢架車度話：我想睇你嘅車牌，我想睇你嘅執照。簡單啲嚟講，阻人搏嘢燒春袋啊仔。Without saying a word, Crowley drew his gun and cut the policeman down with a shower of lead. As the dying officer fell, Crowley leaped out of the car, grabbed the officer's revolver, and fired another bullet into the prostrate body. And that was the killer who said, "Under my coat is a very hard but a kind one that would do nobody any." 喺佢講，聽完呢一段就係話 ，Crowley 講自不提地就即刻拎起佢把槍就將呢個警察變成咗風豆，亦都再次攞起咗警察嘅左輪咧，就對住佢已經死去咗嘅身體度再次開槍。但係呢一個殺手，佢呢封信同時亦都講話，我係一個小心而溫柔嘅心，亦都唔會對人做傷害。然後咧 ，Crowley was sentenced to the electric chair. When he arrived at the death house in Sing Sing, did he say, "This is what I get for killing people"? No, he said. "This is what I get for defending myself." 喺佢俾人判上要坐呢個電椅之前咧，佢講嘅嘢唔係話我殺咗人，所以要咁樣俾人做要咁樣俾人哋處刑，亦唔係佢係講嘅係呢個係我自我防衛 嘅後果啊，即係佢講完呢番話咧，其實個 more of the story， 即係佢其實呢個重點就係、Point of the story is this: Two-Gun Crowley didn't blame himself for anything。佢完全冇怪過我自己嘅。Is that an unusual attitude among criminals? If you think so, listen to this. I've spent the best years of my life giving people lighter pleasures, helping them having a good time, and all that I get is abuse, existence of a hunted man. That's Al Capiton's Al Capone. Al Capone speaking, yes. America's most notorious public enemy, most sinister gang leader who shot out Chicago. Capone didn't condemn himself. He actually regarded himself as a public benefactor, an underappreciated and misunderstood public benefactor. 咁呢個 Al Capone 講嘅一樣嘢咧，就係即係其中一個喺美國歷史上其中一個最大嘅罪犯咧。Al Capone 講嘅就係話，我呢一生人入邊花咗好多時間去俾任何其他人嘅呢個簡單嘅玩樂，但係即係幫佢哋獲得一個好嘅時間啦，但係我得到嘅嘢只有係人哋嘅呢個暴言虐待，係當咗佢一個要被打到嘅人呢個身份。佢咧係美國當時最出名嘅呢個公眾敵人啊，亦都係一個幫派嘅領袖啦，其中一個喺芝加哥犯過最多罪嘅呢個黑幫幫主。佢咧其實就將自己當成咗係一個公眾嘅呢個。佢覺得佢自己為呢個公眾係做咗件好事啦，但係亦都係被人哋誤解同埋唔去支持嘅人。咁下一個罪犯呢，就係下一段啦。So did Dutch Schultz before he crumpled up under against the bullets in Newmark. Dutch Schultz, one of the New York's most notorious rats, said in the newspaper's interview that he was a public benefactor, and he believed. 呢個下一個咧就係一個告密者 ，a rat。Dutch Schultz 就死於呢個幫派嘅人嘅子彈之下。之前咧就喺呢個報紙上面嘅呢個採訪上咧，就講佢係一個公眾嘅，即係對嘅社會有福利嘅人。然後佢亦都非常之去信佢自己做緊嘅係對公眾有益嘅。哇！呢本早晨嘅 Carbon Black， 早晨談談，我哋今日讀緊書。下一本好點講呢？呢本係一本非常有益嘅書，就講呢個公眾關係嘅一本書。 當你睇到呢本書咧，點樣去離開本身嘅呢個精神上嘅枷鎖啦，亦都即係點樣去同人哋相處上咧，呢本書非常之幫到你，係一個心理學嘅書。I've had some interesting correspondence with Louis Laws, who was the warden of the New York's infamous Sing Sing prison for many years on this subject, and he declared that few criminals in Sing Sing regard themselves as bad men. They are just as human as you and I. So they rationalize, they explain, they tell you why they had to crack a safe or be quick on the trigger finger. Most of them attempt a form of reasoning, fallacious or logical, to justify their antisocial acts even to themselves, consequently stoutly maintaining that they would never have been imprisoned at all. 咁就其中下一段就講咗啦，就係呢個作者就去咗同 Louis Laws 當時紐約嘅呢個星星監獄入邊嘅呢個典獄長去傾呢樣嘢。咁就係話其實喺呢個監獄入邊咧，大部分嘅呢個監犯都冇去覺得自己係做錯咗啲咩。佢哋將自己嘅行徑去呢個邏輯化啦。當然就佢去嘗試解釋呢樣嘢嘅時候，當然就係話有啲係歪理又好，正理又好，佢都唔覺得話就算爆人哋嘅格或者開槍打死人係一個壞嘅行為，即係呢啲反社會行為，佢哋全部都有佢哋嘅理由，有歪理去解釋自己全部完全係冇怪過自己做錯嗰啲咩。咁就係咁下一段咧就係 If El Capitone、Hugo Crowley、The Schultz and the desperate men and women behind prison walls don't blame themselves for anything, what about the people with whom you and I have come in contact? 聽咗30秒已經內耳笑。咁我覺得就係，但係有陣時咧，我覺得呢啲書係真係就係點講，少少燒腦係要嘅，因為佢係想你去諗一啲新嘅意見、新嘅呢個 idea 啊嘛。咁佢唔 ingrain 啲新嘅資訊俾你嘅情況下，好難去學嘢。咁就讀書讀爽嘅睇輕小說都得啦，係咪先？咁馬田就決定睇呢本書。呢本書係當時喺澳洲咧，其中一個馬田嘅好朋友送俾馬田第一本，即係佢覺得我就可以喺呢本書度學到啲嘢啦。始終就係話對於人與人嘅關係咧，其實呢本書係非常之有嘅，我覺得就藉由睇呢本書就去獲得新嘅知識啦，亦都係一個馬田中意做嘅東東。雖然馬田係一個老細包底嘅，咁就正話嗰度咧，佢就講喎呢3個罪犯都如果同埋佢哋嗰啲喺監獄入邊做緊監犯嘅人都唔怪自己做錯咗啲咩時候，咁我哋喺一般社會你同我嘅人應該會係點呢？ John Wanamaker the founder of stores that bear his name once confessed. I've learned 30 years ago that it is foolish to scold. I have enough trouble overcoming my own limitations without fretting over the fact that God has not seen fit to distribute evenly the gift of intention. Thanks for the hydration that you. 咁 John Wanamaker 咧，佢就係即係開咗呢間喺佢自己個名度。John Wanamaker 咧，其實係邊個咧？我哋即刻科普下。Wanamaker 咁佢就係一個商人啦，佢亦都係一個政客嚟嘅。咁佢就開咗啲咩啊？佢係一個零售專家嚟。你呢度我睇唔到咁多資訊，但係佢係一個即係佢係一個超大商家啦。佢就話我30年前已經學到咧，去鬧人其實係一個非常愚蠢嘅行為。佢對於自己嘅呢個掣肘咧，已經覺得係夠煩㗎啦。更何況佢都好明白上帝係冇將每一個人都俾予嘅同樣嘅呢個江郎才智。Wanamaker learned this lesson early. I personally had to blunder through this old world for a third of a century before it even began to dawn upon me that 99 times out of 100, people don't criticize themselves for anything, no matter how wrong it may be. 咁咧 ，Wanamaker 咧，佢就即係30年，即係作家講咧，就係話佢就好早就已經學到呢一堂，但係咧，作者咧佢就話我咧要去咁樣碰撞去學呢樣嘢，碰撞咗30年，我先學到呢一個身邊嘅人咧，永遠都唔會去怪自己嘅，即係就算件事有幾錯都好，佢哋都唔會怪自己。Narcissistic 地啊！Criticism is futile. Criticism is futile because it puts a person on defensive and usually makes them strive to justify himself. Criticism is dangerous because it wounds a person's precious pride, hurts his sense of importance, and arouses resentment. 咁咧，佢就講到呢個批評啊，係一樣冇用嘅行為。點解咧？因為每當你批評一個人嘅時候咧，佢哋都會好容易令到佢係變得好 defensive， 好起晒槓，亦都令到佢哋會好用力地去防衞自己，去將自己嘅行為去呢個邏輯化或者解釋啦。但係咧，呢個批評咧係好危險，因為咧佢損害到被批評嘅人嘅呢個自信啦，亦都損害到佢嘅自我重要嘅意識啦，仲有就係會令到人哋會有呢個 resentment 係more like 仇恨，即係呢個討厭啦。簡單啲嚟講就係令到人討厭你。 咁嘅咁確實冇錯，我覺得你喺呢個觀點上係非常之啱。當你淨係識批評人嘅時候咧，通常人哋係唔想你批評，所以佢哋就喺度同你拗頸。但係其實你喺拗頸呢個過程咧，好多時其實都唔會有一個好 common goal driven 嘅呢個結果。通常都係拗完交，如果佢係要唔聽你嘅，其實佢拗完交佢都唔會聽你講咯。呢個我覺得喺睇呢本書我都已經喺睇呢本書之前，我已經好明白呢個 criticism 係未必真係咁，即係有陣時有啲嘢係要嘅，但係你都要幫人哋 build up 翻佢哋嘅呢個自信。如果唔係，其實你淨係得批評冇改善呢，係絕對係愚蠢而且危險嘅行為。B.F. Skinner, the world-famous psychologist, proved through his experiments that an animal rewarded for good behavior will learn much more rapidly and retain what it learns for far more effectively than an animal punished for its bad behavior. Later studies have shown that the same applies to humans. By criticizing, we do not make lasting changes and often incur resentment。 咁 B.F. Skinner 咧係當時其中一個世界上最出名嘅心理學家啦，同埋係psychologist 心理學家。咁就話對動物咧呢個做好事有回報嘅學習方法咧，永遠都係好過對壞嘅行為做呢個懲罰啊。通常懲罰嘅時候咧，呢啲effect 係唔會長期。咁就人都係一樣啦。你鬧佢嘅話咧，其實佢好多時做嘅行為改變咧係唔會長期嘅，亦都會令到對方憎恨你。咁批還批都要俾個課都係啊，所以咧其實真係批評咧，我覺得有陣時係要嘅，即係一個 constructive feedback 啊，即係你要同佢一齊學習咯，就唔係要喂你今日做嘅嘢非常之差呢樣嗰樣，你鬧完佢，你最多咧即係譬如馬田而家喺澳洲嗰邊嘅工作都係一樣。即係對啲細路仔，如果個細路靈魂不靈咧，你鬧佢咧，佢最多就係喺你面前啊，譬如唔會做你鬧佢嗰樣嘢咯，喺你面前嗰陣時。但係當你唔喺度嘅時候咧，佢就故態復萌嘅，即係你叫佢唔好搶人啲細路啲玩具啦咁樣，你鬧完佢，跟住咁佢就還翻件玩具俾人啦。但係咧，你試下唔睇實佢，佢咪一樣偷翻嗰件玩具翻嚟，因為佢想玩啊嘛，係咪先？咁就係話，咁如果即係見到個問題，咁就係話你可唔可以去玩其他玩具啊？佢玩完咪俾你玩咯，即係教識佢有呢個 patience 嘅個情況就大可唔同。Another great psychologist said, as much as we thirst for approval, we dread condemnation。 咁就係阿 Hans S 就話咧，因為我哋即係喺呢個我哋好追求去人哋肯定嘅同時咧，我哋亦都係好怕去被人哋去批評，去 condemnation 呢個 term 係咩意思咧？馬田其實呢個字都即 damnation， 我英文我唔明，但係要譯翻去中文係咩意思咧？L 我哋都要學下。 damnation。損耗唔 make sense 喎，精神上損耗 damnation， 哇！真係食 main 嚟嘅。睇下人哋個都怕落地獄。佢呢個係遭天譴啊 damnation， 你做壞事遭天譴。即係簡單啲嚟講就係 I will send you to Jesus， 但係嗰個方向，怕俾人 send 去 Jesus。So resentment that criticism engenders can demoralize employees, family members, and friends, and still not correct the situation that has not been condemned。呢個resentment 咧。resentment 呢個不滿啊，咁就係喺批評人嘅時候咧，就會滋生到呢個不滿咧。呢個不滿會令到個員工家人朋友嘅呢個demoralize， 即係對於佢哋嘅呢個觀點上有嘅呢個損害啦。demoralize 咁就令到人泄氣，中文叫泄氣 demoralize。interesting， 即係降低士氣咯。我冇錯啊，應該就即係佢個 demoralize。有陣時要直譯一本書咧，其實我發現即係咁樣越睇本書，我發覺有啲 term 咧，其實我英文我係 understand 嘅，但係要將佢變翻做廣東話咧，或者即係簡單啲嚟講中文咧，其實唔係咁簡單咯。尤其是呢啲書咧，佢入邊啲 terms 好點講，好複雜、好深咧嘅時候，要去特登再去詳細將佢翻譯。當然我諗其實呢本書應該係會有中文譯本，但係咁當然我而家呢個台我哋係嚟讀呢本英文書，然後咪填咗一個現場嘅 translation。士氣咧，我覺得係冇錯嘅。你譯完1/3，血壓上210，又未到血壓上210咁嚴重嘅，但係就我諗係阿坦克會上210咯。你一直聽我喺度講呢本書，但係我哋所以咧，其實我哋呢個直播咧，基本上其實讀個半鐘份量就夠嘅。每次讀1個半鐘咧，大家我諗都聽得夠噶啦。即係道理呢啲道理我都懂，但係 keep 住俾人哋説教咁樣。因為當然就係話呢本書又未有説教咁嚴重嘅，但係嗰個即係一直灌啲 knowledge 入去咧，其實係一個好辛苦嘅行為。咁就係話咁，即係咁上下適可而止咧，咁就令到呢本書可以更加 more enjoyable。咁就佢呢一段嘅呢個批評產生出嚟嘅不滿咧，係會令到員工、家人同朋友嘅士氣都下降嘅，亦都解決唔到本身嗰件錯咗嘅事情啊。 咁就 George B. Johnson of Enid, Oklahoma, is the safety coordinator for an engineering company. One of his responsibilities is to see that employees wear their hard hats whenever they're on the job in the field. He reported whenever he came across workers who were not wearing hard hats, he would tell them with a lot of authority of the regulations and that they must comply. As a result, he would get sullen acceptance. Often after he left, the workers would remove the hats. 呢個就係以點論證啊！我哋啱啱已經講完嗰我哋馬田呢個現實中嘅理解啊。假設情況係我要親自睇住英文譯翻中文冇嬲錯，真係要坦克去慢慢譯呢本書，我諗應該真係上201得唔得啊？會唔會直接 aneurysm 直接爆腦血管咯？咁樣咁就呢個阿 George 咧，就係喺一個工程，即係其實佢喺一工程公司入邊工作嘅。咁其中一個職務咧就係要去視察呢個工地上嘅安全措施。咁咧佢喺翻工嘅，即係佢去視察嘅時候咧，成日都見到人哋戴呢頂，即係嗰頂工業帽啊，嗰頂 hard hat。咁就佢啲工人就好唔中意戴嗰頂 hard hat， 但係咧咁佢就用佢嘅職權壓佢哋去，要佢一定要戴帽啊咁樣嘅時候咧，咁佢哋啲工人咧就喺佢聽到佢講嗰陣時，咪戴頂帽咯。佢一走咪除低頂帽咯，即係最簡單，真係你靠壓咧就即係佢出到去就唔會咁做。Decided to try a different approach. Next time he found some of the workers not wearing their hard hat, he asked if the hats are not comfortable or did not fit properly. Then he reminded the men in a pleasant tone of voice that the hat was designed to protect them from injury and suggested that it is always to be worn on the job. 咁佢就嘗試用一個唔同嘅方法去提醒人哋啦。咁佢下一次見到啲人唔戴頂硬帽嘅時候咧，就同佢講話其實係咪戴頂帽唔舒服啊？又或者嗰頂帽 fit 得唔好咁樣？咁但係咧，即係雖然係咁樣啫喎，但係呢頂帽咧，其實係即係呢頂帽嘅設計係去防止佢係受傷，所以咧，如果想安全嘅話，就應該要時刻戴住頂帽啊，同佢講。The result was increased compliance with regulation, with no resentment and emotional upset. 個結果咧，就係呢個安全規格嘅遵守嘅程度咧係提升咗，亦都冇人話不滿或者開心，即係好多人都受硬嗰套，受完就係跟住都即係佢唔喺度咁咪唔啱咪除低佢咯咁樣。咁但係如果佢轉咗個方法咧，就係話喂，其實都係為咗你安全啫，即係為你着想啫喎咁樣。即係呢個受軟嘅呢套咧，反而係更加多人去戴翻個頭盔，而唔會有咩唔鋸嘅情況。要嚟飲啖水先。未到爆血管，但係會上到230。 230入得遠噶咯，應該係210，其實已經係超級廿巴です。睇下唔使譯書，我譯，我血壓低，我本身血壓低，要睇翻啲書提升翻個血壓。You know that？ 本身我低血壓，所以我要睇啲書嚟升翻我自己個血壓上去正常，咁我就精神啦。黐線佬，佢靠呢個升血壓嚟變得健康問好。President Taft, a quarrel that split the Republican Party, would Woodrow Wilson in White House and wrote bold, luminous lines across the First World War and altered the flow of history. Let's reveal the facts quickly. When Theodore Roosevelt stepped out of the White House in 1908, he supported Taft, who was elected president. Then Theodore Roosevelt went off to Africa to shoot lions. When he returned, he exploded, denounced Taft for his conservatism, tried to secure the nomination for a third term himself, formed the Bull Moose Party, and all but demolished the GOP in the election that followed. William Howard Taft and the Republican Party carried only 2 states, Vermont and Utah, the most disastrous defeat the party had ever known. 咁呢個就係講呢個阿夫總統係啦，塔夫總統當時即係 Roosevelt 啱啱落台嘅時候就轉咗做阿夫啦咁就佢選中嘅時候咧，就將Wilson 擺咗入去白宮。咁就當時佢就寫咗啲即係好強硬嘅呢個觀點，去令到呢個第一次世界大戰咧就改變咗世界嘅流向。當Roosevelt 離開咗白宮嘅時候咧，佢嗰陣時係好支持塔夫嘅。收喉糖先，一直喺度講嘢，唔係填喉嚨可能開始會有啲差。好等你。咁咧，佢離開咗個白宮之後咧，就走咗去非洲嘅射獅子，即係去人哋去逼 hunt 射獅子去。但係咧，佢翻嚟嘅時候咧，佢就真係成個人爆炸。聽到話塔夫咁保守嘅情況，佢就開始想去競選第3次嘅做澳洲做美國總統，又開咗一個牛泥黨 Bull Moose Party。呢個實質個名咧，馬田 confirm 唔到啊，因為而家馬田唔喺成日喺度撳電。但係至於佢又開咗新嘅黨派，跟住就將呢個共和黨嘅人咧，就直接鏟到飛起啊！ 當時搞到飛起嘅情況下咧，佢呢個總統競選入邊共和黨當時淨係攞到2個州份嘅票 ，Vermont 同 Utah， 即係咧係喺美國歷史入邊其中一個最激烈、最慘嘅跌嚟。阿 Roosevelt 就理所當然咁樣去怪阿 Taft， 但係咧 Taft 自己咧就冇怪我自己嘅。Theodore Roosevelt blamed Taft, but did President Taft blame himself? It's not. With tears in his eye, Taft said, I don't see how I could have done any differently from what I have. 咁 Taft 就佢講到話，我睇唔出我仲有咩可以做到，可以改到喎。但係眼已經俾人講到眼濕濕咁樣，佢都係講話，我睇唔出我自己做得有咩比呢樣嘢更加好。Or take the Teapot Dome oil scandal. Kept the newspaper raining with indignation in the early 1920s. It rocked the nation. Within the memory of living men. 我講冇冇得答。佢呢個 tracking 有陣時會甩甩地。擰個頭擰得太遠，就係呢個 Teapot Dome 呢個係一個緋聞。當1920年一個燃油風係確實係。當時係一個好大嘅風波嚟，雖然話填唔到美國事，但係呢樣嘢我都好似有少少意識。喺即係當時嚟咧，係其中一個係當代人完全忘記唔到嘅一個。Here are the bad facts of the scandal. Albert B. Fall, Secretary of the Interior in Harding's cabinet, was entrusted with the leasing of government oil reserves at Elk Hill, Teapot Dome. Oil reserves that had been set aside for the future use of the Navy. Did Secretary Fall permit competitive bidding? No, sir. He handed that juicy contract outright to his friend, Edward L. Doheny. And what did Doheny do? He gave Secretary Fall what he was pleased to call a loan of $100,000. Then, in a high-handed manner, Secretary Fall ordered United States Marines into district to drive off competitors whose adjacent well are sapping oil out of the Elk Hill reserves. These competitors, driven off their ground at the ends of guns and bayonets, rushed into court and blew the lid of the Teapot Dome scandal. Stench arose so vile that it ruined the Harding administration, nauseated the entire nation, threatened to wreck the Republican Party, and put Albert B. Fall behind prison bars. 咁1920年嘅時候咧，呢個 Teapot Dome 嘅呢個挖油嘅緋聞 就當時咧就呢個 LQ 就同埋 pt2 咧係喺呢個軍用嘅原油儲存地方嚟嘅，即係佢呢個未挖出嚟 oil reserve 就係啲油井啊。咁就喺哈定嘅管治之下咧，呢個 Albert B4 咧就被指派咗去，即係佢係哈定嘅呢個秘書，就被指派咗去租借呢個LQ 同 pt2 嘅呢個油井。呢個油井嘅用途咧，就本身就係被放置去俾之後嘅海軍使用啦。咁但係阿科咧就冇主張呢個競爭投標，佢就冇咁樣做，佢就將呢個挖油嘅 contract 咧，就直接俾咗佢個朋友 Edward。然後 Edward 做咗啲咩咧？佢就無啦啦俾咗科一張借票，就借咗$100,000，即係8,000萬、10萬、8萬、10,000，定咗即係100萬，係咯，就俾咗100萬蚊佢，就借話係借錢，然後咧就係一個好高調嘅情況下咧，阿科就叫咗啲美國海軍陸戰隊去趕走晒所有其他嘅競爭對手，喺附近油井所有嘅競爭對手都被呢個海軍陸戰隊趕走晒。咁呢堆人咧就被趕咗之後，就即刻衝咗上去法庭度去告佢哋啦。咁就完全觸發咗呢個pt2 嘅 scandal。個 tracking 有陣時你甩咗 tracking 底喎，可唔可以擺低啲個 camera 等佢冇咁甩我個 tracking 咧？試試佢先。OK， should be better。咁呢個緋聞嘅惡臭咧，係好強烈地要對呢個政府做出咗呢個擺動。佢直頭咧將呢個哈定嘅政權就被毀壞啦，亦都嘔心到全個美國，亦都將Albert 即係阿科佢抌咗去監入邊。咁阿科咧就被批評得好犀利嘅，又係呢個水平係對 佢即係已經去到係只有好少人先至會俾人批判咁犀利。All was condemned viciously, condemned as a few men in public life ever been. Did he repent? Never. Years later, Herbert Hoover imitated in a public speech that President Harding's death had been due to mental anxiety and worry because of a friend had betrayed him. When Mrs. Ford heard that, she sprang from her chair. He wept, choked her fits at the fate and screamed, "What? Harding betrayed by Ford? No, my husband never betrayed anyone. This whole house full of gold would not tempt my husband to do wrong. He's the one who has been betrayed and led to slaughter and crucified." 咁喺呢一度咧，就係喺數年後啊 ，Herbert Hoover 就係做咗一個好恐怖嘅公眾演講咧，就講阿哈定總統嘅死因咧，因為係佢嘅呢個心理嘅呢個anxiety 係焦慮係啦，心理焦慮同埋呢個 worry 其實基本上就係講緊焦慮咯。但係佢死因就係佢長年計日嘅呢個焦慮啊，因為咧佢個朋友就將佢去背叛，但係阿科嘅老婆嘅咧，聽到佢呢番嘅公眾發言之後咧，即刻彈起身，佢好大聲咁嗌啦，亦都喺度揈佢，即係指手畫腳咁樣去對住個台講，就話啊哈定俾阿科我背叛唔係咯，我老公一直都冇背叛過任何人，成屋入邊嘅黃金都唔會引誘到我老公去做壞事。佢係唔係一個俾人背叛咗嘅人，亦都令到佢係俾人哋去各種議論啊！即係佢就算做咗咁大件壞事，佢老婆都覺得佢老公係冇做過嘅，唔會背叛人。And there you are, human nature in action. Wrongdoers blaming everybody but themselves. We are all like that. So when you and I are tempted to criticize someone tomorrow, let's remember Al Capone, Two Gun Crowley, and Albert Ford. Let's realize the criticisms are like homing pigeons. They will always return home. Let's realize that the person we are going to correct and condemn will probably justify himself or herself and condemn us in return. Or, like Gentle Taft will say, I don't see how I could have done anything, and I don't see how could I have done differently from what I have. 咁就好簡單咁講，就係話呢個做錯嘢嘅人咧，永遠都唔會怪自己，即係佢會怪晒所有其他嘢，都唔會怪自己。咁每一個人都係咁嘅。 當你同我去想去怪責人哋去做錯嘢呢，我哋就一齊去記下呢堆罪犯，或者甚至係國務院嘅秘書都唔會認錯。呢個批評呢就好似信鴿咁樣，永遠都會返嚟嘅。每一次我哋去嘗試去改正，去將一個人去批評嘅時候呢，佢哋都會好大可能地去將自己去辯解，亦都會同時去將我哋去批評。亦都又或者，如果係另一個環境，好似阿 Taff 咁樣咁 gentle 嘅人呢，佢只會講話：我睇唔出我可以做到任何其他更加好嘅嘢。即係話怪責人，其實即係淨係得兩個答案嘅啫，一係佢又怪翻你有問題，再唔係佢就話我睇唔出我仲可以做到其他咩嘢咁樣。一段啦。On the morning of April 15, 1865, Abraham Lincoln lay dying in a hall bedroom of a cheap lodging house directly across the street from the Ford's Theatre, where John Wilkes Booth had shot him. Lincoln's long body lay stretched diagonally across a sagging bed that was too short for him. A cheap reproduction of Rosa Bonheur's famous painting, The Horse Fair, hung above the bed, and a dismal gas jet flickered pale light. 咁就係喺呢個1865嘅4月15號啦。林肯總統咧就係喺呢個 Ford Theatre 嘅出面嘅呢一個好平嘅酒店度，去過佢最後嗰幾分鐘，即係佢之前就俾人哋去槍殺，即係去謀殺佢。咁就呢個 John Wilkes Booth 就當時喺林肯睇緊呢個歌劇嘅時候就去射殺佢。林肯當時佢嘅一長嗱嗱嘅身體咧，係咁樣瞓咗喺，即係斜對咁樣瞓咗喺呢個軟腍腍又歪晒嘅床上面。咁就喺呢個酒店房入邊咧，就有一張好平嘅 Rosa Bonheur 嘅名畫嘅呢個複製品啦，都有一個汽油燈，咁就然後射出呢個黃色嘅燈。As Lincoln lay dying, Secretary of War Shenton said, "There lies the most perfect ruler of men that the world has ever seen." 就當林肯攤咗喺度就死緊嘅時候咧，呢、個戰爭嘅大臣 Canto 就講啦，就話喺呢一度就瞓咗一個最好嘅人民管治者喺度。What was the secret of Lincoln's successes in dealing with people? Studied the life of Abraham Lincoln for 10 years and devoted all of 3 years writing and rewriting a book titled Lincoln the Unknown. I believe I've made as detailed and exhaustive study of Lincoln's personality and home life as is possible for any being to make. I made a special study of Lincoln's method of dealing with people. Did he indulge in criticism? Oh yes. As a young man in the Pigeon Creek Valley of Indiana, he not only criticized, but he wrote letters and poems ridiculing people and dropped these letters on the country roads where they were sure to be found. One of these letters aroused resentments that burned for a lifetime. 講到有啲喉嚨痕，就作者咧就喺度研究呢個林肯嘅呢個 success， 即係佢對人嘅呢個對人態度上嘅呢個成功嘅地方啦。佢就喺當時做一個最資訊繁密，亦都係一個佢所全知啊，即係佢呢個 exhaustive 咧，就係揾盡晒所有就揾盡晒所有資料地去寫咗一本傳奇書，就呢個 title 就叫 Lincoln the Unknown。咁佢就研究咗林肯嘅性格啦，同埋佢在家嘅生活嘅情況嘅。佢係咪一個好中意去批評人嘅人呢？就冇錯啦。佢係一個喺 Pigeon Creek Valley 嘅時候呢，佢唔單止去呢個鬧人，就係去批評人咧，亦都寫過信啦，寫過詩去批評人哋，亦都會將呢啲書信咧就會留喺所有道路之上，就令到人可以去揾到佢呢啲嘅批評。呢堆信咧就種下咗呢個不滿嘅種子，亦都呢個不滿嘅種子係維持咗佢嘅一生嘅時間。Even after Lincoln had become a practicing lawyer in Springfield, Illinois, he attacked his opponents openly in letters published in the newspapers, but he did this just once too often. 咁佢就算佢之後做咗一個律師咩咧，佢都將佢嘅對手攻擊，即係佢喺呢個報紙上面投稿去攻擊佢嘅對手。咁咧其實講真嗰句咧，佢 作者覺得佢做得太多，即係 once too often，即係做多咗次，玩多咗。In the autumn of 1842, he ridiculed a vain, pugnacious politician by the name of James Shields. Lincoln lampooned him through an anonymous letter published in the Springfield Journal. The town roared with laughter. Shields, sensitive and proud, boiled with indignation. He found out who wrote the letter, leaped on his horse, and started after Lincoln and challenged him to fight a duel. Lincoln didn't want to fight. He was opposed to dueling. But he couldn't get out of it and save his honor. He was given the choice of weapons. Since he had very long arms, he chose cavalry broadswords and took lessons in sword fighting from a West Point graduate. And on the appointed day, he and Shields met on a sandbar in the Mississippi River, prepared to fight to the death. But at the last minute, their seconds interrupted and stopped the duel. 咁其實佢呢度咧開始就講話啊林肯其實佢即係佢把火又好難熄啦，成日都喺度鬧人呢樣嗰樣，鬧到過晒火，咁就佢就喺1842年咧，就佢喺用書信嚟侮辱到阿 Shields， 咁佢係勁到成個市鎮都喺度笑阿 Shields 嘅，阿 Shields 就係一個好自滿嘅人，亦都係一個好 sensitive 好敏感嘅人。Oh, thanks for the raid, Dayo. Oh, hi, Dayo. How we going? Oh, ayo, Amewa. It's been a while, Dayo. Today we are reading a book. Nothing too fancy, just reading a book about human relations. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a really interesting book. I was just about to explain how that Lincoln sparked too much fights that he could handle and ended up having himself killed in the process. So yeah, that was about a story where he just antagonized James Shields, and James Shields put him on to a duel. 咁呢個對戰呢，就到最後1分鐘嘅時候先至被緊急嗌停，去繼續去將對方打死。Yes, I could tell you. Okay. Okay, Taka. You need to bring yourself to reality real quick. Alright. Thanks for the raid, that you appreciate it. While you did it. I am going to go with my book that is very thick. If you like the content, please consider following Taka as well. He's really good with the ukulele. I've been playing it a while ago. And welcome raiders. I am Asada Sundae, a Sunday type VTuber. I do variety streams, and most of the time I do gaming, but as I'm in Hong Kong, I couldn't be doing a lot of gaming. So now a different series came up, which is reading the books, and I found this book being really interesting. Just finished Half-Life Alyx. The story with the ending was crazy. I was crazy once. They put me in a room, a rubber room full of rats. The rats made me crazy. Oh, I need to finish the game as well. I've got the game. The Half-Life Alyx was a VR game. It was really nice, but I just couldn't bring myself to finish it. Because, well, you see, motion sickness is a real thing. And that game has been giving me so much motion sickness. But it was a good game. Maybe when I go back to Australia, I'll keep playing it. I don't know if I'm going to stream it though. Let's just say you basically messed with the timeline of Half-Life 2 episode 2. Yeah, I didn't really do Half-Life when I was smaller. It was such a long time. It was a great game though, that's what I hear from people anyway. But yeah, this story I had so far was quite interesting, right, on the Half-Life Alyx. It's an amazing game. I know. I want to play it now. Since you've just been playing with it. You just hate the head crab no more. The head crabs are pretty annoying. That is true. Surely you can blast a few caps into damn head crabs sometime though. Alright, let me just quickly do a shout out for you. Well, not that a whole lot of viewers to begin with, but I'll still do it. You're here and I appreciate it. Vinegar. Oh. I can deal with them when I see them coming, but I hate surprise attacks. That's why you look around ever so often. But if you look around just way too often, you get motion sickness. How pork is that? That's the struggle. If you look around too often, then you're getting sick from looking around. Joke's on you, I have them. We are legs no more. Can you kick them though? I think you can, but I am not sure. What do you use for tracking your leg that you? Oh, let me come my book here. Oh, you mean VR legs that makes you immune to VR motion sickness. Okay, nice flex. Nice flex, Tucker. I don't have them legs. So I get sick if I play too often. That was the most lurid personnel in Lincoln's life. It taught him an invaluable lesson on the art of dealing with people. Never again, he wrote an insulting letter. Never again did he ridicule anyone. And from that time on, he almost never criticized anybody for anything. 佢呢度講咧就係話，喺呢個決鬥就令到佢學到咧，呢個好重要嘅一堂，就係佢唔再寫一啲詆毀人嘅信啦，唔再去侮辱其他人啦。喺呢段時間之後咧，佢差唔多係冇再去批評過任何人嘅任何嘢。I think there's a dueling game in ER. Maybe I should try it someday soon. Time after time, during the Civil War, Lincoln put a new general at the head of the army of the Potomac, and each one in turn. How do you pronounce that? Jesus. So the word I'm trying to say is Claire. Like, this is the word that I just couldn't find myself be pronouncing. You Caucasian names are very hard to pronounce, you know. Okay, let me just open up browser and check to see how do you pronounce that. Yeah. Yeah. B. B. Bruh. Please let me listen to how that was pronounced. Yeah. McClellan, it wrote, and that's how it was pronounced. And each one in turn: McClellan, Hope, Burnside, Hooker, Mede, okay, blundered tragically and drove Lincoln to packing the floor in despair. After the nation savagely condemned these incompetent generals, but Lincoln, with one of his favorite quotations, was "Judge not, that ye be not judged." 咁就係喺呢個Civil War 嘅時候咧，佢就擺咗好多個唔同嘅 general 上呢個陸軍嘅首領啦，但係咧每一個都 都做唔到真係適當嘅職務，令到林肯都佢非常之絕望啊！半個國家嘅人都去對佢哋做出呢個批評，但係咧林肯佢就亦冇批評過佢啲手足，就係去咗我講一句話唔好去judge 人啦，因為你唔係俾人 judge 嗰個。咁你 judge 得人嘅時候，咁你就要俾人 judge 噶啦。咁如果你唔想嘅話，咁你就簡單啲嚟講，就唔好咁多聲氣啦。要。And when Mrs. Lincoln and the others spoke harshly of the Southern people, Lincoln replied, "Don't criticize them. They're just what we would be under similar circumstances." 當林肯夫人去將佢嘅批評擺咗上去南邊個州份嘅人咧，林肯就答唔好批評佢哋啦。其實佢哋咁樣都係同你差唔多嘅環境嘅。Yet, if any man had ever had occasions to criticize, it was Lincoln. Let's take just one illustration. The Battle of Gettysburg was fought during the first 3 days of July 1863. Camera Kun, come on. Come on, Camera Kun. Work with me. During the night of July 4, Lee began to retreat southward while storm clouds deluged the country with rain. When Lee reached the Potomac with his defeated army, he found a swollen, impassable river in front of him, and a vicious Union army behind him. Lee was in a trap, couldn't escape. Lincoln saw that. There is a golden heaven and sent opportunity, the opportunity to capture Lee's army and end the war immediately. So, with a surge of high hope, Lincoln ordered Meddy not to call a council of war, but to attack Lee immediately. Lincoln telegraphed his orders and sent a special messenger to Meddy demanding immediate action. Gettysburg 之戰咧就喺1863年度嘅7月發生啦。咁喺7月4號嘅夜晚上咧，對家李家軍咧就向南部去撤退啦。但係喺呢個時候咧就發生咗一個好大嘅暴風雨。咁佢去到當佢哋去到 Potomac 嘅時候咧，佢哋揾到就遇見咗一條非常之潮漲過唔到嘅河。 然後跟住佢哋身後咧就有林肯嘅 Union Army。阿 Lee 咧就認同入咗一個陷阱，佢就逃走唔到。林肯見到呢個機遇，就即刻去覺得啊，我哋應該要去圍捕阿 Lee 嘅軍隊，去完咗呢場戰啦。有住咁好嘅咁大嘅希望嘅時候，佢就去 order 呢個軍務嘅總理，佢唔好去傾話言和啊，咁就去即刻打佢哋啦。佢就係即係 send 咗個電報去叫 Maddie 去即刻做呢個行動。And what did General Maddie do? He did the very opposite of what he was told to do. He called the council of war in direct violations of Lincoln's orders. He hesitated. He procrastinated. Telegraphed all manner of excuses. He refused point blank to attack Lee. Finally, the water receded and Lee escaped over the Potomac with his forces. 咁咧呢個大將 Maddie 咧就完全唔聽佢講啦，就做咗調翻轉嘅嘢。咁就即係 call 咗大戰會議去拖時間去延遲呢個攻擊，咁就亦都拖咗咁耐時間咧，就直到去個潮退之後，咁李家軍咧直頭就可以走佬翻返去 Potomac。Lincoln was furious. What does this mean? Lincoln cried to his son Robert. Great God! And what does this mean? We had them within our grasp and had only to stretch forth our hands, and they were ours. And yet nothing I could say or do to make the army move. Under the circumstances, almost any general would have defeated Lee. If I had gone up there, I could have whipped him myself. 林肯就好嬲啊！咩意思啊？咁樣啫，佢就對住佢阿仔阿 Robert 就大聲喊叫，即係主啊，點呢個咩意思啊？我哋真手就拿來嘅嘢，點解我講嘅咩一字一語完全冇用咧，喐唔到個軍隊？喺呢個情況下，真係任何嘅大將啊都可以打低李家軍。如果我當時個人喺嗰度，我直頭攞支嗰條邊鬼啊Maddie。In bitter disappointment, Lincoln sat down and wrote Maddie this letter. And remember, at this period of his life, Lincoln was extremely conservative and restrained in his phraseology. So this letter, coming from Lincoln in 1863, was tantamount to the severest rebuke. 佢呢句啲字我完全睇唔明添。總之我就係知道 understand context 佢係好嬲咯。Canto Mount to the severest rebuke。咁就下咗一個形同最嚴厲嘅訓斥啊！即係已經唔係 criticize 啦，佢已經唔係批評咁簡單，係斥責啊！ So that's the letter. My dear General, I do not believe you appreciate the magnitude of the misfortune involved in Lee's escape. It was within our easy grasp, and to have close upon him would, in connection with our other late successes, have ended the war. As it is, the war will be prolonged indefinitely. If you would not safely attack Lee's last Monday, how can you possibly do so south of the river when you can pick with you very few? No more than 2/3 of the force you then had in hand. It would be unreasonable to expect, and I do not expect that you can now effect it much. Your golden opportunity is gone, and I'm distressed immeasurably because of it. 咁呢封信呢，就寫到話，我覺得你唔理解我哋今次呢個李家嘅逃走就做出嘅後果啦。佢係喺我哋可以好輕鬆地去呃緊到嘅。如果我哋當時去埋到佢哋身嘅話係再加上我哋近期嘅呢個成功嘅情況呢，咁我哋其實如果咁樣做，我哋已經完咗場仗㗎。而家咁樣呢，我哋呢場仗就會被拉長到不可預計嘅情況。即係如果你唔可以安全地去攻擊阿 Lee 佢哋呢，喺上個星期一你都唔可以咁樣安全咁樣去襲擊佢哋嘅話，咁你點樣去expect 會做喺河嘅南邊？你帶唔到好多人嘅情況下，多唔過成個軍隊嘅2/3嘅情況，你仲打到仗咩？我覺得係去要求呢樣嘢呢係一個好唔合理嘅事情啦。我亦都唔去覺得你而家可以做到好多嘢，你嘅黃金機會已經走咗啦。然後我亦都覺得係非常之 distressed 係 what's the word for distressed？ 咁就我就覺得非常之痛苦喎。What do you suppose Maddie did when he read the letter? Maddie never saw that letter. Lincoln never mailed it. It was found among his papers after his death. 咁你覺得，如果阿 Maddie 睇到呢封信嘅話，會係點呢？但係其實呢封信係由頭到尾都冇睇到 ，Maddie 係冇睇過呢封信嘅，因為林肯係由頭到尾都冇將呢封信寄出去，喺佢死之後先至揾到呢封信。My guess is, and this is only a guess, that after writing that letter, Lincoln looked out the window and said to himself, "Just a minute. Maybe I ought not to be so hasty. It's easy enough for me to sit here in the quiet of the White House and order Maddie to attack. But if I had been up at Gettysburg, and if I had seen as much blood as Maddie has seen during the last week, and if my ears had been pierced with the screams and shrieks of the wounded and dying, maybe I wouldn't be so anxious to attack either. If I had Maddie's timid temperament, perhaps I would have done just what he had done. Anyhow, it's water under the bridge now. If I send this letter, it will relieve my feelings, but it will make Maddie try to justify himself. It will make him condemn me. It will arouse hard feelings, impair all his further usefulness as a commander, and perhaps force him to resign from the army." 咁作者就估計，咁當時咧就冇人知啦。咁作者就猜測就係話，咁呢個只不過係猜測嚟嘅啫。就話寫完呢封信嘅時候咧，林肯可能就望出個窗就喺度諗等一等。其實如果咁快就去先斬後奏咧，就唔係咁唔好嘅。因為喺我嘅立場上咧，我喺白宮入邊order 阿 Maddie 去打人咧就好簡單。但係如果我喺 Gettysburg 度咧，如果同埋我睇到咁多個人受傷流血嘅情況下，你喺過去嗰個星期入邊見到嘅受傷流血嘅人，每人嘅即係呢個傷者嘅慘叫，又或者尖叫嘅時候，我可能就唔會咁去焦急地想去打人啦。如果我有阿 Maddie 嘅呢個膽小嘅性格咧，我可能都會做同佢一樣嘅行為。如果我 send 咗呢封信出去咧，佢會解決到我心頭嘅感覺，但係我覺得咁樣會令到阿 Maddie 會想去解釋自己啦，亦都會令到佢繼續去呢個不滿我。呢個絕對會開到啲唔好嘅感覺啦，跟住亦都損壞到佢之後嘅作為指揮官嘅能力，又或者甚至搞佢去辭咗呢份喺軍隊嘅工作。So as I have already said, Lincoln put the letter aside, for he had learned the bitter experience that sharp criticisms and rebukes almost invariably end in futility。咁就正如作者啱啱講完啦，咁林肯就將呢封信擺埋咗一邊，因為佢咧就喺佢嘅人生經歷上已經學到呢個好鋭利嘅批評咧，或者斥責，基本上都係會冇用。Okay. I think this be the end of today's reading stream because it has been 2 hours that you. Let's take a break from here, rest my throat, and I'll be doing that the other day. Ooh, 早晨嘅天氣。啱好 ad break。ad break 大喲，哇！哇喲大喲，早晨嘅天氣。我哋今日嘅呢個讀書直播咧，就應該今日到一段落啦。多謝晒各位嚟呢台啦，去俾心機去聽呢本咁燒腦嘅書。但係呢本對於麻田嚟講咧，係一本非常之有價值，亦都係一個值得學習嘅環境嚟嘅。希望大家中意麥田去讀呢個書啦。今日讀書嘅速度咧冇上次咁快，但係麥田咧都係好盡力咁樣去嘗試將呢本書去令到大家明白啦，同埋麥田喺讀呢本書嘅時候，其實自己都學緊啲嘢。Thanks for everyone that's been here listening to Sunday's Rumble with the book.Chatting or not, I still very much appreciate it. With that, we are going to end the stream for today. Thanks for everyone that's been here. We'll be doing the continue of this on the next week. On this Friday, we'll do Switch games. So I'm still thinking about what games that I will be playing on the Friday, but knowing that it's going to be a Switch game stream. For updates, check out my Twitter that you can find on Twitter with my name, Asada Sundae. Also, thanks for the raid, Taka. I really appreciate it. And if you want to investigate what Taka's like, go to his channel. He's pretty pop with the music. He knows a lot of instruments as well. So yeah. Go and drop him a follow if you like his content, Dayu. Alrighty. We are going to end the stream today and let's find somebody to raid, Dayu. Let's raid. I don't know. Okay, we can raid Honolulu or we can raid Mountain F. 我哋可以去 raid 阿 Honolulu 啦，亦都可以去 raid 阿山姐。佢哋兩個都而家都做緊呢個 chatting 嘅環節。我唔知佢哋係咪成個台都係 chatting 啦，但係 咁 Honey 就係一個英文嘅 streamer， 又明白少少中文嘅，但係佢好似唔係咁識睇。又跟住阿珊姐就應該而家都係直播緊呢個雜談培訓嘅。大家有冇意見？定係我點指冰冰就算？我及下佢哋播緊咩先？喺度睇啲自由戲睇嘢，依然呢有冇康尼聊咧？哦，康尼聊生日啊！我哋去 race 康尼聊啊 ！sorry 啦，我哋今日去 race 阿康尼聊啊！康尼聊今日生日，我之前寫咗張生日卡俾佢噶，咁就我諗佢應該陣間會睇到嘅，咁但係我哋而家就去 rate 佢，去同佢講聲生日快樂啦！哦 ，Welcome Elizabeth. Let me. Oh, my redeems. They are buggy. Alright, let me just manually perform that. Okay, thanks for redeeming that, yo. We appreciate it. We are going to rate Honeru for today because he's having his birthday stream, and we should really celebrate his birthday. He's a really pop streamer that does a lot of funny stuff. A lot of memes as well. So if you like his content, please consider to follow him as well. He's pop that you. Right, let me just type the great message. Yo. Happy birthday on you. Birthday. Da-da. Greatness， 我哋中間就攝個 Happy Birthday 俾佢，因為佢今日生日大要 ，Send him the birthday wishes 大要 ，Very pop 大要。Yes. Thanks for the happy day, arigato. Alright. We are starting right now, Dayo. Alright, you ready? Alright, we are rating him that you send him the birthday wishes for me. I will do that too, naturally. But still, send him the birthday wishes. We are going, Dayo. See ya. Otsukare, Dayo.